Imagine what it's like being Netanyahu or Larry Ellison right now. You just spent the last 2.5 years forcing a sale of American TikTok so you could censor people talking about Palestine and saying bad things about Israel. And you wake up the next day, after it's under your control, the app's falling apart. Hundreds of thousands of users are leaving to an app that's Palestinian owned and now the fastest growing app on the planet. On the planet. Upscroll's promising no censorship, no biased algorithms, protection from these fucking billionaires taking control of our free speech. It is the biggest middle finger ever to Larry Ellison and the state of Israel right now for them to know that it's not just TikTok users, but this is spread to X and Meta and all over the internet. Everyone is sick of being censored by these platforms dominated by the same circle of like-minded fascists. And you know what they say, let the markets decide, and they did. Number one, baby, number one in the world. People are all sick, and it didn't take any ad spending. $0 were spent promoting Upscrolled. Everyone's just agrees. Censorship is done for. We can't be under the boot of these billionaires. So help us spread the word. This is our chance, a critical moment to break the chains off. Join Upscrolled, find me on there, tell everyone you know. If everyone just invites one person to Upscrolled today, free Palestine.
Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, and glory to my power Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rechak Kodash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who grew well and teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers. Peace and blessings to the 04 elect. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. I'm the brother Qadar from the GMS branch of Chicago, coming back with another video. And this video is going to be entitled, as you've seen in the clip before you, you know, I'm going to entitle this video, Amalek is buying TikTok is causing Americans to flee the app. Okay, and you know, everything that this devil does turns around and bites him in the ass. All right. The scripture says, is there no more wisdom in teaming? Okay, these devils are breaking down. Okay, here it is that they just bought TikTok officially, okay, a few weeks ago, and now millions of Americans are fleeing the app to a Palestinian-owned app. You know, and this is something that the Elder Malcolm mentioned. You know, I watched it in this video a few days ago. He literally mentioned, you know, to stop, in order to combat Amalek buying TikTok, all you have to do is flee the app. You know, and, you know, hey, millions of people have been doing that, man. You know, because now, as you can see, those who use TikTok, you know, I actually use TikTok myself. You know, you can see that the algorithm has changed. You know, they've definitely been banning certain pages, demonetizing certain pages. You know, you can see they're blacklisting things. It's pretty obvious. You know, and because of it, people are moving apps. You know, and now these devils are shitty because of it. You know? Let me grab this Job 5:12. You know, this is scripture that was on my spirit, man. You know, it was brought out in my time in Cleveland, you know, visiting the brothers, which, you know, I had a beautiful time out there. You know, Yahweh Shema Shabrak them to those brothers, you know, and all the other brothers that was there as well, other camps. You know, Job 5:12, it says, he disappointeth, okay, the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot prosper so that hands cannot perform their enterprise. Okay? And let's go into that word for enterprise. It says wisdom, sound, knowledge, success, or efficient wisdom, abiding success. Okay? And let's search up the definition of the word for enterprise. Definition. It says a project or undertaking, typically one that is difficult or requires effort. Okay? And Yahweh Shemel Shai is not going to let this devil, okay, accomplish his new world order. Okay? Because ultimately what he wants to do is censor everything. Okay? He wants to chip everyone and control everything. All right? He wants to make you his cattle. All right? But his NWO is not going to be fulfilled. It's not going. The Most High is not going to allow it to be successful. All right, because when you look into the history, this isn't the first New World Order. Okay, and this is actually the start of it. This ain't the first New World Order. All right, look at Nimrod in the Tower of Babel. All right, look at Nebuchadnezzar. All right, trying to make everyone bow down to their image and abandon their gods. Okay, Antiochus wanted to make all people one people. Okay, and now look at this NWO. Esau wants to put everyone together. He wants to join everyone together under this one world currency so he could track everything and everybody. Okay. There's the Hebrew word for this, the word disappointive. All right, it goes to the Hebrew word parar. Okay, it says to break, frustrate, make ineffectual, to break, to bits, shatter. All right, and as a matter of fact, let me keep this Psalms, the 2nd chapter, on hold as well. We just flowing through the Spirit. Okay, now let's read this in the AMP, the Amplified version. Job 5 and verse 12. It says he frustrates the devices and schemes of the crafty. Hey, this is a scheme. To take an app and that's heavily exposing you. That app is heavily exposing Esau. And it actually still is, believe it or not. It's not as much, but it still is if you follow the right people. Which we know that Esau is going to continue to push and delete those pages, which is why people are fleeing to different apps, which is going to go ahead and start ramming in on Amalek, man. Start exposing Amalek. Okay? So to buy an app from Moab, a Chinese-based company that was tracking information, to literally be doing the same thing. So it says, he frustrates the devices and schemes of the crafty so that their hands cannot attain success or achieve anything of lasting worth. Okay? Let's grab this Psalms, the 2nd chapter. Okay, as a matter of fact, it's perfect. Let me grab it in a blue letter. Okay, because this is perfect right here. Psalms 2 and verse 1. It says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his anointing, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. Okay? So, Esau and these heathens are ultimately preparing to fight against Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, but let's keep reading. Okay, and we understand that Esau is preparing to set up he's preparing to set up his kingdom on the left-hand side. Trying to get that blessing back, which is meant for us. But it's gonna be successful. All right, and Tawadi Hal Bashim Shai is gonna be successful, man. Job 14 and 5. All right, Esau's days are numbered. Okay, it says, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. Okay. Esau Edom has a time limit on his kingdom. Yahweh Shema Shai put a time limit on him. And these elites, these banking families that deal on the left-hand side, okay, all right, with these left-hand spirits, they understand they have but a short time. All right, that's why it says that in the scriptures. The devil shall come down in great wrath because he knoweth that he have but a short time. That's why they're rushing everything. And that's why everything's looking so tacky. Okay, it says, he that sitteth in heaven shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision. So you got to look at it from the Lord's point of view. His creation is preparing to fight against him. All right, the scriptures say, I don't want to butcher it. I've created a smith that bloweth the coal. So Isaiah 54 and 16, behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in a fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy. So the Lord put the spirit on these Edomites to create the atomic bomb. And that ain't shit. You know, that ain't going to defeat the Lord. That's why it says, he that sitteth in heaven shall laugh. Because the pride of this devil is laughable. Like, nigga, you really think you're going to beat the creator of everything? The omnipotent one. You know, you got a video game, you know, and you got the characters in the video game, then you got the devs. All right? It's short for developers. All right, the devs create the game and they can change anything they want. All right? Yahweh Ba'ashem El Shai is the dev, man. He created everything. You know, trying to fight your maker, man. You know, here it is, you the clay trying to fight against the potter. You know, like he didn't form you, man. You know, that's why the scriptures say, the pride of a man shall bring him low. You know, it says, he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh, the Lord shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath and vex them in his sore displeasure. Okay, so Yahweh Ba'ashem El Shai is going to take these heathens down. Okay, it says, yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. All right, which is Yahweh Shai. All right, let's read this verse 2 in the AMP. It says, the kings of the earth take their stand, and the rulers take counsel against Yahweh and his appointed. Let us break apart their divine bands of restraint and cast away their cords from control from us. He who sits enthroned in the heaven laughs at their rebellion. The sovereign Lord scoffs at them, and in supreme contempt he mocks them. All right, so the Lord is mocking these fucking heathens, man. Okay, he's not gonna fulfill his NWO. You know, and this is just a laugh at this. This is laughable, man. Okay, and this devil's being exposed left and right. When you see what was in those Epstein files, which they just released, that's fucking horrible, man. But these are the wicked people that's in power, and that's why Yahweh Ba'ashem El Shai has to get rid of them, man. Because these vile, disgusting people are in power, man. And best believe these are the same spirits coming back who were rulers of Rome. All right, look up the Emperor Tiberius and look up the Emperor Tiberius. Okay, and what he was doing in the island of Capua. All right, look up Caligula, Nero, which Nero is in the president right now. All these vile, disgusting people are ruling right now. Hey, this place has to get taken down ASAP, man. We need righteousness to be taken, put in power. All right, Sirach the 10th chapter, in which it will. It's of Job 20, in verse 22. It says, in the fullness of his sufficiency he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain upon him while he is eating. Okay, so Yahweh Ba'ashem El Shai is not going to let this devil complete the New World Order. It's over with. Okay, it's completely over with, man. He knows it. He's only going to get so far. And that's the good thing about it, because we know at the end, we get the victory. Okay? It says, he shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. And what's the bow of steel? Them ICBM, all right, nuclear missiles. Okay? It's not talking about an actual bow and arrow. I don't care how strong you are. You shoot a bow and arrow, that's not going cross continents. It ain't even going fucking 10 blocks. You know, cut it out. Okay? So it's talking about the nukes. All right? Hey, Yahweh Ba'ashem El Shai is going to have this devil's own creation. All right, which it's Yahweh Ba'ashem El Shai's creation. But, you know, I'm using it at a from Esau's POV, you know, his own creation to destroy himself. You know? Hey, so you know, hey, everything is falling back on this devil, man. He's through. All right, he's 100% through. All right, the Lord has placed a limit on his kingdom. Everything he do is what's that word? It's falling back on him. You know, so Lord, when this was edifying, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem El Shai, Ba'ashem Kakodash. Double honor to the apostles, the elders, great millstone. Peace and blessings, throw full leg. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. Shalom, Kwame Sharala, Wa Badu Ball.